Well, if it isn't the great John Chaser come back from the grave to put on his hero cape and kill Big Bad Vinny. Well, let me tell you something. The only true villain in this room is you.
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. Did I just ruin the ending? You see, John, every single day you spent living your life after the loss of your family has all been for a much larger purpose.
What do you mean, purpose? The only purpose I have is to kill the sick bastard who caused me to lose my wife and child.
To find him, you need only look in a mirror, John.
Give me a break. I've heard some bullshit stories in my time, but you won first prize with a shit spread.
If only I were lying, John. You see, you caused the loss of your family through acts of selfishness and disgust.
You don't know what you're talking about. You murdered them because you're sick and twisted. We were fine, happy even until you destroyed all that.
No, Chase. I simply took them away from you when the damage was already done. You see, you seem to forget that you were never actually happy before I took them away from you.
How could you possibly know how I felt? How my family felt? You weren't there. We had our problems like any family, but we made it through, and I was there for them.
That isn't how I had it, John. I mean, what kind of a man who is there for his family says he's staying back late at work but instead finds a hotel room and has sex with his partner's wife?
The guilt shone down my face with murderous inclinations.
I was going through a hard time, which I regret. You don't know what it's like. You couldn't possibly. Besides, that's all ended now a long time ago.
Perhaps it did. But why is that? Ah, yes. It had to end, didn't it? Because she died in your arms, didn't she? How do you think that made your partner feel? To know his wife died in the arms of another man who had once sworn to always be there for him.
He didn't even know about the affair. And it wasn't like that,
No, John, it was. It was all like that. The cheating, the lies, the nightly beatings you gave your child when you were out of your mind on drugs.
Sickening a rumor of rape, beatings, and murder on my tongue.
And what about poor Ken, eh? You demanded his help even after it was you who got him fired for unpolicemanlike conduct all those years ago to save your own skin. I mean, let's face it, destroying things you love is part of who you are. You locked me away in prison for laundering in drugs that you use, and yet you try to justify you as good and me as bad. What are you trying to say, John? Are you going to try justifying your actions? Actions that are worse on a much deeper level than any of my actions. You didn't even bother to bury your wife and child. Did you even actually see them, John?
I've had enough. Why should I have to look at the mutilated bodies of my family?
Because, John, looks can be deceiving.
What's that?
Oh, well.
You see, John, if you'd have only looked and listened to the people around you, then you would have been with your wife and child again a long time ago.
What's going on? I don't understand.
The fact is, John Chaser, that you destroyed the lives of everyone you see now in some way or another due to your selfishness. You destroyed Ken's career, you destroyed Axel's marriage, and you even destroyed your wife and child's life. Because of this, they decided you needed a test. One last chance to save your soul. The goal was simply to listen to those around you instead of following your own self-absorbed interests. We gave you every chance to find your family. All you had to do was listen to those who were trying to help you.
Don't you know what you've done? Can you see?
Come with me, and you'll be able to do it all again.
You don't have to do this, you know. We can go away. No more hurt, man.
You need to understand that you had a choice.
Sadly, though, you failed.
You goddamn bastard! I'll kill you! I swear to God, neither of us will leave this place tonight!
In the blink of an eye, all the pieces of the puzzle I'd been trying to solve now seemed to fit perfectly. The things Ken and Axel had said so softly before they died. The way that every conversation up to this point had ended with, "You don't have to do this, Chase. Just come with me and everything will be okay." They had all given me the chance to save my soul. That's what they'll tell me anyway. But I know better. They wanted this to happen. All of this. This was their sick game and I was just a pawn moving where I was placed. They kill my wife and kidnap my son and then claim it's for my own good? To help me? To save me? This isn't my final test. This is their final reckoning. And I am their death dealer. They think they fool me. They can think again.
As quickly as life reappears, it can disappear. Ask Axel and Ken as they fall to hell courtesy of terrible aims.
I thought you were dead.
Goodbye, Chase.
As the bullet released from the gun on its epic journey towards my head, it was as if everything that had once been so clear had suddenly shifted from perfect black and white to an array of climaxing colours. Each colour a separate piece of the puzzle joining together to show that even though I thought I knew what was right, I actually knew nothing at all. Everything leading up to this point was as much a blur as the night I thought my wife and child had been murdered. And as I fell to the ground, somehow time seemed to slow, and all around me the colour grew brighter and ever-changing. The bullet still lodged in my skull now had a roommate. Only problem was it was a one-bedroom apartment. So as my life faded, my questions died without answers. And as I stared my dead wife in the eyes as she smiled while I fell, I couldn't help but wonder, was any of this really happening? Or was my mind playing one last sick game with me as I tipped ever further off the edge? Did my supposedly dead wife pull the trigger? Or had I pulled the trigger a long time ago? Someone once asked me a question. What makes a man? Oh hell, I didn't know. Who does? I mean, people say that even God himself doesn't know the answer to that question. Then again, that isn't the real question, is it? The real question is, what breaks a man? And the answer to that is simple. A woman. Strange, isn't it? How your whole world can come crashing down in a New York minute.